This episode on sailing Popao.
That's all the lightning strikes within the last, I think the red's like 10 minutes. Just came up blowing like 35, 40 knots, trying to drive out of there and pull the anchor up. And we're just stuck in the middle of like a super yacht sandwich. That was so stressful.
And I think we've bent our rudders. Talk to me.
Yeah, it's bent back that one.
I swear we haven't taken drugs. I don't know if you can see that, but there is a rain shower.
But there's no cloud above us.
It's a sun shower. Oh, we're going the wrong way.
No, they're gone.
Have you missed Moreton Bay Storms, Michael?
Just in time.
We're just making a mad dash now. We're at Peel. We got in last night.
It used to seem so far to go from Peel to Raby. Like, oh, God, it's so far between, it's only 3.8 miles.
So we got in last night like 1 or 2 a.m. and dropped the anchor. Just went for a swim. Got some pippies for dinner. And doing a mad dash before this storm hits.
I just disconnecting some of the electronics. Just our little
Storm procedure.
storm procedure, but
Who knows if it does anything, but
we do it anyway.
we do it anyway. I've put all the electronics, except for the camera, in the Pelican cases. Oh my gosh.
Look at that.
They're all the lightning strikes.
That's all the lightning strikes within the last, like, I think the red's like 10 minutes or something.
Weather can't make up its mind. Sunny over there. Raining and dark over there. You miss Moreton, Michael?
Really?
This is day 2. We're waiting to go in at the marina tomorrow. And we have another storm. It's brutal, this place. We're over at Peel Island today. And there is lightning all around us. Looks like hail too, that sky colour.
Though we had talked about moving to a more protected anchorage, but since the storm had already arrived without any wind, we thought we were in the clear.
I don't like it, it's very slow moving.
The live wind radars weren't picking up anything to the south of us, so we went against all our instincts and stayed put.
Oh, so that was freaking intense. We were just sitting there just about to eat a steak dinner. Just came up blowing like 35, 40 knots from the south. And
Trust your friggin' instincts. We didn't want to stay here, we knew that storm would come from the south.
where were we gonna go?
St. Beulah.
Well, anyway, it was gnarly. Like we were right in the surf zone and
it's dead low tide right now.
dead low tide as well. So we were hitting the bottom violently, smashing.
I think we've bent the rudders.
We were trying to drive out of there and pull the anchor up. The swell was massive. The torch was kept going flat. The anchor kept stalling because we were getting blown on such an angle. Other boats are like trying to get out of it as well, and yeah, it was all freaking hectic.
That was like, I don't even want to film it, like, and I think we've bent our rudders, like they're not turning properly. So anyway,
Yeah, it definitely feels something's bent.
I think we're hauling out tomorrow, hey?
Hauling out tomorrow, but so much for one day haul out. We have another rudder too. It's
at home in New South Wales, which we can't get to because the friggin' borders are closed. But yeah, that was a nightmare. Like, honestly to God, I'm in shock. Like, literally just today, Lincoln and James were talking about getting the mast out ready. I'm so glad they said that, because the first thing I did, our dive masts were right there. I just put that on, and thank God I would not have been able to see a thing. Michael was just shining the torch, which just went flat, like, and I just put it on charge like half an hour ago. So the whole time I'm thinking, the torch is gonna run out. This is gonna be a friggin' disaster. And we dropped anchor once, but when we pulled back, we were way too close to another boat. I think they actually were upping anchor at the same time. So they'd come straight forward, like right into where we were dropping. So We're like, quick, pull the anchor back up. We'll go 10 more meters and drop it again.
This guy's
Like,
right there.
We're just going all over the place. This is crazy, out of control. Moreton Bay at its freaking
This guy's
worst.
leaving now too.
That was so stressful. And it's still stressful. It's a boat right there, like, but we haven't moved, we're holding strong. This is literally all I was going by because we had no electronics. I had a depth on, that's it, because we disconnected everything.
It just came back, it was gone for a while. But
This is where we were, so we dragged into that sand. This is earlier today.
We didn't drag, we just swung into it.
No, we swung it. We were sitting here all arvo. It wasn't meant to blow southerly, but we know that the storms always come from the south. But the storm came and then no wind. Anyway, swung around and we were over that, and then we were fine. And then once that chop picked up, it just started dumping us on the bottom. Oh, we only got one really big bang, that's it. And then as soon as I felt that, I drove out. And then we were trying to get the anchor up for ages because it kept tripping, which I didn't really care at that stage as long as we weren't hitting the bottom. And then we drove up here, we dropped the anchor here, ended up near the other boat, and then dropped it again here. We seem to be holding good.
Oh man, oh well, we're safe. We've got steak waiting.
Oh my god, I'm gonna vomit. I'm like so close to vomiting right now from the stress.
Oh.
I'm totally in shock. Take your cold clothes. You got any wet clothes?
I need a hot shower, that's what I need. Alright, just had a hot shower, stop the shivering. This is what we left. This is the scene of the crime. This cream on the ground, steaks, which I will not be eating. Half mashed mash. Just carnage. Far out. That was so stressful. Like, we were trying to pull the anchor up and we're just stuck in the middle of like a super yacht sandwich. Just freaking nightmare. That bilge is full of fresh water from somewhere. It's better than salt, but every time we turn the rudders now, there's like you can tell it's bound up somewhere, so I'm guessing it's bent or something. Oh, I don't know how we're gonna fix it. It's gonna be a nightmare. We've got a spare rudder actually when we bought the boat, but that's down in Sydney. We don't know if that's a problem, but we managed to get the bridle on finally, and we're both hot showered and adrenaline dump.
Not yet, but it ain't over yet.
Definitely not over yet. We got a whole night of storminess by the looks of it. But yeah,
We'll swing back around to the north soon, I reckon.
it wasn't very windy, very well protected, and then it just turned and just went bang from northeast to east northeast to east, and then it just went south southeast straight south, gusting like 26 knots. This definitely felt stronger than that, didn't it?
So the yellow bit's where you were cooking the steak, and I was like, we swung around, we should probably come have a look. And then the green one was when I was like, babe, come outside, it's getting really rough. And then the green one was when we started banging on the bottom, and I was like, we need to get the frick out of here.
It's amazing how fast the swell came up.
So crazy how quick that just happened.
So we gave ourselves a we even, like, in the anchor radius, we gave ourselves a 200 mil depth buffer, which is obviously in hindsight now, like, we weren't expecting to swing around that direction, but if we did, we gave ourselves a 200 mil buffer, which when it blows like 20-30 knots like that, the swell got up. It was like breaking over the bows. It was, you know, 1.5 meters of swell, like of chop straight away. And when we weren't sure what was going on, if it was just really rough, and then we could just feel the thuds, boom, boom, the boat was just smashing down on the sandbank. And then, yeah, it all unfolded after that. But yeah, next time, if there's any storm, I think...
I said to you too this hour ago, should we go to Dean Billa, or we could even go to Coochie? You're like, no, we'll just stay here, it's nice. It's like, yeah, okay.
Remember? Because I said there's storms forecast, and then the storms just hung around all afternoon. So
Yeah, but
no
usually the
wind.
storms usually like come and go. So we thought, oh, if it comes, we'll just put up with it for 10 minutes. But it's amazing how bad things can turn in 10 minutes.
It's still blowing south.
Still
though,
blowing
which
hard.
is crazy. Usually it blows north all
What's
day.
it blowing now?
Then you get a southerly buster, and then it goes back to north again. It's still blowing 15 to 20 knots. So
Yeah.
I definitely can't relax. But
We've got both engines. We had a hot
anchor
shower. We
alarm
were
on.
shivering like crazy from running up
stress.
and down,
It's a shock. We're in shock.
and getting the anchor. Like the anchor kept tripping out because the wind was blowing us like 180 or 90 degrees to the chain, so it was like fully locked
and
in.
I was driving us over.
And Jess was
trying to
driving over it and
keep us off the bloody
man.
sand.
It was like trying to keep off the beach, and then the
We're gonna have to retell this
yeah,
anyway.
I don't know. Anyway,
Put the camera down.
Freaking hectic.
This is us
And then
stressing out. I'm so hungry, but the thought of food makes me want to vomit right now. Like,
so anyway, we've had hot showers with our warm clothes and got both engines running. I've hooked up all the electronics. That was another thing. All the electronics were disconnected because we had crazy lightning, so we were in like running dark or just off the phones. And then anyway, so
lucky.
everything's connected. Both engines are running, purring away, anchors on, bridles on. So we just
so lucky I just put that key in the engine too.
imagine you dropped it overboard.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
I don't think it's worth taking it out.
freaking nightmare.
Or maybe cable tie it on there.
And now, yeah, the rudder situation. We'll see what happens. We still had steerage, but it was like, yeah, it binds up in the middle somewhere, so time will tell.
So this is the storm cell. It's just absolutely massive. Like that's all of Brisbane. It's just covered in this massive storm right now. It is crazy. I've never seen a storm that big. It's like a little mini cyclone. It must be coming from the cyclone up north. We do have a category 2 forming up here. As you can see, that's the system there. That's us down there. Anyway, it's been about 2 hours since the southerly came through. It is still howling. I tried to film the back step before, but it didn't really come out. But yeah, like it literally feels like we're on passage. There's waves coming over the back steps, like, because we're just sitting here hobby horsing like crazy. Yeah, never seen anything like this storm to come up and to stay like this. I think just because the storm cell's so big, it's just hanging around. We're just at the back of it now, so hopefully this wind's going to drop off soon, because yeah, we're not going to rest at all until it's gone, because this is just like crazy. Morning after. So it blew last night until about 3 a.m. in the morning. Not forecast at all. So yeah, it was pretty brutal. We didn't sleep much. I've had about 3 hours sleep, but just woken up. I can't sleep. I have to know how bad the rudders are and hope there's no other damage down there. We checked our insurance policy this morning, and we actually get a free inspection after grounding, so we'll definitely be taking them up on that offer, hoping that we can organize it for when we're hauled out, so then that way we don't have to like get hauled out for a second time. And yeah, we actually have a spare rudder in Sydney, so if it is just replacing the rudder, we need to figure out how to get that up here. It's quite heavy, so it'd be pretty expensive to post. And also it's at Michael's parents' place, which is, they probably wouldn't be able to pick it up either, so. Anyway, just gonna jump in now and see what the damage is. Ready to jump in and assess the damage, Michael?
Oh, I've been procrastinating all morning and really I wanted to see what's down there.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that bad. I think the rudder's just bent backwards a bit.
Which one? We don't know.
Yeah,
so when the
feels
rudder,
like that one.
This rudder just gets, it's free to turn and then you go to 0 degrees and it's tight, so it's obviously it's rubbing against the hull there as it goes under the hull.
Hopefully it's not both. I can feel the response on that one. Can you hold this? I'll try this one. That's ridiculous. Yeah, it's hard to tell. It feels the same on both. Hopefully we haven't bent both rudders, or we'll be looking at a pretty decent job. Anyway, jumping in now. It's cold and grey and yuck today too, just to add insult to injury. At least it's not too cold.
Cold enough.
Talk to me.
Yeah, it's bent back, that one.
How's the hulls? Is there any damage to the hull? Okay, so it looks pretty firm. So what's the verdict?
So it's just this rudder here, it's bent.
So the port side's fine?
Backwards.
Yeah, as expected. So they must have been straight when we landed on it. So we only had one really big bang where we got dumped, sort of, because that storm had just started. I'd literally just put the isolator key in and was turning the engines on, because I knew that once I saw that swell build up, I knew that we were probably going to be in a bit of trouble. Started motoring forward, which is when we got the big bang. So that's why I made pulling up the anchor so hard, because I didn't want to drift back on the anchor just to pull the anchor up. So we were like sort of going right over the anchor, but it had to be done, otherwise we'd get slammed again on the bottom. But that's what kept tripping the windlass, because we were over the top of the anchor. I was hoping that I could basically just pull the anchor out and just skull drag it, because yeah, it was I'd rather damage that than, you know, wreck the hull or the integrity of it. So anyway, Marcus is just having a look now and sounds pretty good. Just the one rudder. We've just spoke to a friend who's also got the same boat, and he's actually replaced a rudder. Pretty common thing on the Easies just because of how they're built. But it's just a bit of a sacrificial thing. He reckons we might be able to drop the rudder, bend it back into shape, and then just get it checked for the straightness and then put it back in. So good to speak to someone who's done it, because he also mentioned that when we get lifted out, to drop it while we're on the lift still, while there's still lots of space to like drop the shaft out, because it's quite a long shaft. So after a very rough morning, we are heading into Redland City Marina. So one other thing that we discovered as well with our engines is we actually have the mechanical pull start cord, like a non-electrical start, which is great, but there's actually no room to pull start the engine in these wells, because you take that cowling off and pull it that way. So might actually think about putting like a little pulley in that bulkhead, so if we do need a mechanical pull start one day, we can just run that manual pull cord through that pulley and let us pull it out that way, because at the moment we can't pull it. The engine, you know, you need to be up there to pull it, which doesn't really work. So it's good to see these things now. And yeah, anyway, we're just on our way up the Ep.83 Creek to Redland City Marina and get hauled out, and steering with the engines as well. We do have use of the rudder, but we don't want to use it unless we need to, because it is actually rubbing on the hull just a little bit because it's bent up a bit. So yeah, we're just going to use the engines for now, and if we have to use the rudder we will. And yeah, I'm pretty relieved to be hauling out. I never thought I'd be happy to be pulling the boat out, but yeah, like just last 24 hours has been so stressful. I think we're just going to haul it out and give ourselves a day off, call a few people and see what they think the best way about repairing this shaft is, because yeah, we're just absolutely buggered. We're running on 3 hours sleep, so not great. There's dolphins everywhere in here, look at that. Michael, any words? Dolphin.
Yeah, I'm buggered.
That's the state of our mind.
And Snell messaged us and said to give Peter a ring, which is
the designer of this boat.
About as good as you can get, really, when you get a phone call with him. So
yeah,
he'll be able to talk us through what to do, and hopefully it's not too bad. Worst case scenario, I think it's just the one rudder from what I saw when I had a dive.
Yeah.
We've got a spare one in Sydney, so you know that might take a while.
Or we might just be able to bend this one back in shape.
But we should be able to bend this back into place.
Nice sunnies.
Yeah, I don't know where my sunnies are.
Bit girly. Anyway, wish us luck. Hopefully once we tie up we won't have to do anything. Let the guys in the yard deal with hauling the boat out, because yeah, we're just absolutely wrecked. We've got Kinta behind us who's following us in. It is quite a shallow creek into Ep.83, and we've got Kinta just following us. We're going to let him know if it gets too shallow for him because he draws 1.8. Hopefully he doesn't get stuck. All right, Michael, putting you on the spot. I'm just editing the rudder debacle that we had in Moreton Bay. What would we do differently now, or what could we have done better, basically? Besides the obvious of just being in deeper water.
A bit deeper water.
We always anchor for a lee shore. Like, we always make sure we have enough depth in our entire swing circle. We didn't expect the wind to come, so we didn't have a huge buffer in the swing area, and that's where we got caught out.
No, and where we really came unstuck was we didn't expect the wind chop in such a short period of time to get so big, because it was like over a meter chop that we didn't account for, that kind of those troughs that would ultimately put us on the bottom. Yeah,
that is 100% the main thing that we got caught out on. So many people are probably going to be watching this going, oh, that happened to us at Peel. Peel is notorious for it. So if you ever anchor at Peel,
summer storms in Moreton that come through, and they always swing the wind around to the south.
And one of the worst things as sailors, the biggest thing we look at, the biggest comfort factor is wind. So generally we will look at the wind only, because that's the biggest concern, really. We don't care if it's rainy or sunny, because it doesn't matter, we're out on the boat anyway. But you have to check the storms in summer, because it usually blows northerly, and then as soon as that storm comes through, it's southerly. Now if you look at a wind forecast, they never show the storm front, which will usually be 180-degree wind shift, and then it goes back to the trade northerly again. So it catches so many people out. Keeping our torch charged,
it was I don't know how helpful it was anyway, because you couldn't literally see like half a meter in front of you.
It was crazy. Was insane. We read later on the rain radar or wherever that they had 200 mils in an hour. Like, that's a lot of rain. There were floods all over Brisbane. It was just crazy. So yeah, anyway, we were very unlucky, but also lucky at the same time, because it wasn't major damage. That's what you run
away from cyclones for, to cop that. So that's it, really.
Just trust your instincts.
Trust your gut is the number one thing.
we weren't super comfortable sitting there. I think you just get a little bit complacent as well. We were definitely complacent, and we checked the wind radars down the Goldie and Tweed and everything, and there were none, but it actually had come from the southwest. So It was dark by that stage. If the wind had come with the storm, would have been daylight, would have moved in 2 seconds. But yeah, everything's just so much harder in the dark, and it's so hard to tell how far things are. Like those huge boats, it was like a beautiful big.
Everyone just shining their torches at us.
Nordhaven, everyone's shining their torches
through the rain.
Yeah, like that was so handy because we could actually see the boats. Because yeah, it's so hard to gauge when you're just looking at an anchor light that's this big in the horizon. So. Yeah, sorry to the boats around us.
I think they were just shining stressing. Like, don't hit us.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I'd be doing the same thing. So, I mean, they would have been standing out in that rain, and you want to help, but you can't help someone in weather like that. You're on your own. It's you, really, which is definitely probably the scariest part about it. I mean, you don't even think about someone helping you. You just got to deal with it and get the hell out of there. So
yeah, remember after it was just like.
Yeah, it's in the video. Yeah, okay. He hasn't watched the video yet. So anyway, you'll see it's like fully in shock and a massive adrenaline dump. So I guess we just want people to learn from our mistakes and what not to do in Moreton Bay. Keep an eye on those storms because they usually do always bring southern fronts with them. I'm going to draw a little diagram now to show you what happens with the storms there. And yeah, stay safe out there and don't get complacent.
Trust your gut.
Yeah, trust your gut. Cheers, guys. This is a very crude map of Moreton Bay, and basically what happens is you've got your trade winds that blow from the northeast usually, and when the storms come through, they usually roll in from the southwest or the south. Now, if you're anchored here at Peel, having a fantastic day on the sandy beaches, and you're sitting there protected from the northeast, and then all of a sudden the storm comes, you are pinned against this lee shore. Now, that wouldn't be... You would sort of think that you're protected because you're in this huge bay, but the thing is, this is about 4 miles until shore. So you can... That's a lot of fetch for water to build up into waves very quickly. So usually what we would do is we'd up anchor, head around Araby Bay. We've got really good protection from most southerly winds, right? But we would we'll just sit still and you know, stay here for the night, and that's where we got smashed. So just be careful. If you see a storm coming in Europe Peel, I would just run. I'd hightail it to Raby or over here. So there's another little spot here. It's probably down there. Bad drawing, but it's called Dunwich, and a bit of the sand comes out like this. Gives you a bit of protection. You can tuck in. Anyway, another fantastic graphic from me.
Next episode on Sailing Popao, we haul out to do some emergency repairs.
That's why they call it an easy catamaran.
Well, hey!
And cram as much boat work as we can into 1 week on the hard.
Splash day, and she's looking pretty good.
Look at this budding filmmaker just doing the old.
Hi everyone.
G'day guys.
Just a quick reminder that we do have merch available now up on our website.
Grabbing some gear is a really good way to support the channel.
So if you're keen on keeping the wind in our sails, head over to sailingpopao.com and grab some merch.
So we'll put a link up here or up here somewhere. For some reason the site's not showing up in the Google search just yet, so it'll be in the description as well.
Cheers for watching everyone, and a huge thanks to our patrons for making these videos possible.
Thanks guys.
Cheers.
See ya.
That was the sound of that one. It was like the earth tearing open. What are you doing? What?
Using that worm that we caught and pull up the anchor and there's a big clump of mud and a huge big bloodworm hanging out of it.
What, you were outside and it started raining?
Beautiful. I heard all those guys on the rocks going.
Oh really? Yeah, it's heavy rain.
Just saw it coming like this.
Crazy.